Hello and welcome to Dean Park Station. In this video I'm going to show you very quickly how I use the Humbrol Weathering Powders to give this girder a bit more of a lifelike look. Now there's other videos on YouTube showing heavy weathering, rusting, using the Humbrol mask oil and airbrushing techniques. However, for this particular girder I'm just going to give it a very light kind of grimy distressed kind of look. I'm not going to go too heavy on the corrosion. As you can see, the one in front of you, it's just been painted with grey primer, sprayed on, a couple of coats, and it looks good, but it's a bit too clean to be realistic. What I'm aiming for is to give it a kind of grimy look, as you can see from the half length girder here. And the full one, which I did, I don't know how well the light picks it up, but you can see the kind of grime around the rivets and the panel edges, and a very light dusting on the actual panels themselves. So it still looks grey, but it's been there for a while and the water's kind of gathering and dirtying the girders on the top there, the rivet detail, and on the front. The bottom one on my bridge will go underneath like that, to give it a more of a strengthening look, realistic. For the length of span I thought it needed something else other than just the girder on its own. So I glued these together, they're just single-sided ones, glued them together and cut them in half, and I gave them quite a grimy look because they're going to be underneath the main one, and obviously get all the rainwater and whatnot draining from the road bridge above onto them, so they're a bit more grimy. So there we have it, the clean one. And what I'm aiming to do is get to the state of these two girders in front of me. So what do I use? Well, I've kind of collected a series of Humbrol Weathering Powders. I've got rust, I've got iron oxide, and then I've got dark earth, and at the very end there I've got smoke. I've also got the black one, but the smoke's is I find less harsh than the black, and it gives a good kind of grimy look. I use them dry. I don't wet them with Humbrol matte coat or any kind of thinners. I've tried that. I've watching the videos on YouTube from the Humbrol website, but I find it very easy to go overboard with the weathering using the actual liquid method. I feel I've got a bit more control just using a series of brushes there, a small brush, medium and large, just to kind of feather it in, and I just kind of mix up here, which it can get quite messy, so don't do it anywhere near a nice new shiny model or anything. I have covered my workstation, which all my card models get assembled on. I've kind of covered that up to stop the dust getting on them. And this is a mixture in front of you of the smoke, oxide and dark earth, and you just mix it together and you feather it onto the actual detail, which I'll show you in a minute. Okay, so what I'll start by doing is I'll just take a little bit of the weathering powder in my mix there, and as I've started on the first one, hope you can see it clearly, and you just use the brush to work it in to the rivet detail. Don't go overboard at this stage, just a very light dust. And the panels at the end are in contact with the support, the brick support, so they might get a bit more grime on them. Okay, and there we have it. Don't be alarmed if you think, oh my goodness, that's too dark. And I work along the next, so I tend to go all the way on the bottom ones first. Okay, I use a small brush, it's dry, and I just work it in. And if I want to change the tone, I just use a bit more of the different colours, and obviously it will sit on the recess there, and I'll work it in. You might think that's not actually going on, it's looking a bit untidy, but when you actually work it in and then take the excess off, you'll see I'm going to put a bit more corrosion type in the corner there where the water sits. Again, I hope you can see this clearly on the camera. There, not putting too much down. Take the excess off on the paper and then just a wash along the bottom here, turn it a wee bit there. Now, the next bit is you just basically remove it with blowing it. and you think, oh, there's a bit too much on there, you get a large brush and you just feather it in. Sorry, I'm not the camera there. There's like BBC Studios here, so forgive my videoing. And there we have it, the start of the grime. Okay, so I'm going to continue working my way along and do the whole side here, and I'll show you the finished result. Okay, that's me weathered both sides of the girder and one section at the end there. I don't know if you can see it, but I've added a bit of more rust into there where the water would collect at the change of girder, and just general grime along the length of the rivet plates. I don't want too much on the top one, but this is the bottom one, and you'll not see that one anyway. I don't really know why I need to do it, but you may as well do it to finish the job off correctly. To do that, I just take my, if you can bring it in a touch so you can see it this time, I just take my mix, and I'm going to kind of aim for more of a smoky finish to this one. So I've just kind of got a darker section here, and test it there and you think, yeah, that's the right shade that I want, I'm fine with that. And I just kind of dab it on along the length. At the moment, oh my goodness, I've overdone that one, but remember, this is the underside of the bridge, and it's going to get no clearing whatsoever. Okay, dab it in. Maybe change the tone a slight shade as we go along. Don't panic if it doesn't look the way you want it just now. The good thing about these weathering powders is you can actually take them off. A kitchen towel, a cotton bud can be used to soften them as well. Don't think, oh, I've ruined it. This is what I like about using just the powders and not mixing it with any form of thinner or matte coat. It's just that it allows me to work a bit of a time, and if I want to go away and have a break, come back, the stuff's not dried up, it's just powder. Right, there's a fairly grimy looking rivet plate, and all I'm going to do now is I'm going to brush off the excess, and then I'll do the feathering technique again, right the way along. I use a fairly big brush for this, just softens it, and then blow the excess off. So there you go, there's the underside, looking fairly brown, black, grimy, general build-up of crap basically. And there's the front or the rear, I've not decided yet, and turn it right the way around. There we have the other weathered side. If there's any powder lying, you just either blow it off or brush it in. And what the brushing feathering like this does is that it colours the middle of the panels without actually having to weather those bits yourself, and it just takes the greyness away from it, and it makes it look like it's actually real. Well, in my opinion, there's guys out there who are ace at weathering. This is my first ever attempt at using powders on a structure anything bigger than a buffer stop, which I showed in one of my previous videos. So there we have it. In my opinion, that's as far as I want to go with the weathering. I've got bits of panel that have started to maybe seep and streak rust down through the rain, and just build up of smog and grime, and along the end there is a similar kind of thing going on. Okay, and I think with regard to the rusting, I've got most of the rusting taking place along the bottom, because obviously all the water will pour down and lie there, whereas up the top here it's more of grime, diesel fumes and that kind of stuff. That would drain a bit easier than the water sitting at the bottom. Now, as I said a minute ago, this is my first real attempt at any form of weathering. I thought I'd put it on video just as a kind of reference to me really as well, because where I get 99% of my ideas and techniques is by watching YouTube, and it's down to the guys who I've subscribed to and who I will subscribe to in the future, where I get all these tips from. 5 Elms, Jason at 5 Elms has done a cracking girder bridge. He's used the picot and the Wills stuff, and he's given it a really heavily weathered look, and I think it looks absolutely fantastic. And I will be using that technique on one of my more industrial parts to lay out. And you've got Terry at Glebe Road. He's gone for a more of a light grime on his girder. So you know, it's horses for courses. The reason I'm not going for one like Jason's is because I don't think I'm as, you know, I've got the ability to do that yet. So I've kind of gone for the easier option with the powders on their own. But no doubt as our skills get better, we tackle, you know, bigger projects, and we're braver, I suppose. So there you go. I'm going to place them, well, before I place them on my layout, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give them a spray of matte varnish. Now I've got Humbrol matte varnish, which it recommends on the website, just to seal it in, to stop, you know, finger marks in the future. And obviously when you touch it, you don't want to always get dirty fingers, as you do when you're using these powders. Once I've got them on my layout, I'll do another video, and please feel free to comment on what I've done today, and suggestions, because you know, this is really my first attempt at doing anything like this, and there's experts out there who can give me tips and suggestions of how to improve my techniques. You know, and I look forward to any comments and feedback. Hope you enjoyed this video and got something from it, and I'll see you again soon. Bye now.